Hi guys, Olivia here, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, January 14th, and I am back for my stitching update. It has been 2 weeks since my last one, so I hope you've all been well and you've been making and stitching and creating all of the things. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. This is a video podcast where I talk about my cross stitching as well as my quilting. However, if quilting is not something you're interested in seeing or hearing about, I show it a little bit later on in the video, and I let you know in plenty of time that they'll be making their appearance, so that way you can go on to the next Flosstube video. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So guys, I hope you had a wonderful start to your new year. We are currently 2 weeks into January. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who watched my last video. It was so much fun to make. I love when Flosstubers talk about their plans for the new year. They show their whips, they show projects they're thinking about working on. They share their plans for the new year, and I really enjoy those a lot. It's very festive and fun, and I love watching them. So it was a lot of fun to make that video, and I just really appreciate everybody who stopped by to watch it. I know it was a lot longer than my regular videos, and it didn't feel like it was going to be a super long video when I sat down to film it, but I had a lot of fun, and thank you to everybody who watched it. Welcome to all of the new subscribers who found their way to my channel over the past 2 weeks. I'm so happy that you decided to subscribe and stick around so that you can see what I am up to every 2 weeks. I do appreciate it so very much. My channel passed a milestone on January 11th, and that was my Flosstube anniversary. So I have been doing Flosstube videos for 3 years, and it has been an amazing journey. I have met a lot of wonderful people. I have been able to, through social media, I've been able to make new friends and, interact with a lot of people. And it's been a lot of fun. And I'm so glad that that you guys just, as I went over the years, you found your way to my channel, you liked it, you subscribe, and you come back every 2 weeks to see what I'm up to. And I appreciate it so much. I am very, very thankful and blessed for all of you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in again today. Doing a regular, my regular Flosstube video. I'm a little rusty at it. The last 3 months have been full of just kind of the one project I'm working on, and then I've shared a lot of previous finishes. So I'm a little bit rusty. I got to kind of get back into the groove of just doing a regular update. The husband has went off to the grocery store, so today it's just Fred and I, as well as my daughter's birds, which you'll be able to hear in the background of the video. They're both parakeets, and so now that she's off at school, I take care of them for her. And they do a lot of chirping in the morning, especially when they can hear the other birds outside chirping as well. So you're probably going to hear them a little bit more today than in previous videos. So life for us has pretty much just kind of returned to normal. I haven't really put the house 100% back together yet. I also am planning over the next 2 weeks to start working on redoing my bedroom, which I know I've been talking about that for a really long time, but the time has come. It's actually a really good time to do it because my main sewing machine is off being cleaned, so I'm not really going to be doing any much quilting or anything like that over these next 2 weeks. So these next 2 weeks I'll probably be doing a lot of around the house work. I'm hoping to get some project bags into the shop, but I have to use my backup sewing machine, so I'm not sure how well that's gonna go. But for the most part, life has just kind of returned to its normal pattern. It's definitely winter here now. We've had tons of rain, and it's just been very gray, and I'm looking forward to spring. I'm already starting to plan my flower beds. I already kind of know what I need to do once spring kind of gets here, and I am looking forward to it this year. My dad gave me the go-ahead to rip out. There's a flower bed right in front of this window, and there's a big juniper bush out there that's kind of past its prime, so my dad gave me the okay to pull it out so that I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm basically just looking forward to spring getting here so I can get out and start working on my flower garden again, because I've missed the flowers. And I think we really got spoiled with our 6 months of summer and just having endless flowers and warm weather and blue skies, and I'm anxious for it again. So over the past 2 weeks, I continued working on a couple of projects that I carried over from last year, and then I did have a couple of new starts. So the first project that I carried over from last year is out of the Winds of Autumn book by Blackbird Designs, and it is called Mighty Acorn. Here is a picture of it. So when we last sat down to chat, I think I had started the house. I had a little bit of it done, so I was able to complete the house, complete the tree, because I had made a mistake, and I actually needed to work on the house so that I could then fudge the tree. I did make a mistake on the squirrel that is on top of the house. He is supposed to be out of the same colors that the squirrel at the bottom of the house is. I'm not sure what was going on the day that I was working on the squirrel, but I had outlined him in a completely wrong color, and I realized it when I had the outline all finished, and then I just decided to roll with it, and I just chose another one of the called for colors that I thought complemented it, and I filled him in with it. There are squirrels that are kind of that rusty color, so I figured it would be fine. I completed part of the main border. I completed it last night. I just need to go in and fill in the 2 corners at the bottom, and then the acorns that are in the border. And then there's a secondary border that I need to go fill in and add my initials, and then I'll be done. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count Wren by Picture This Plus with the called for threads 1/2. And I am really ready to be done with this one. When I first started stitching it, I really enjoyed working on it. And then as I've kind of continued to work on it and gotten closer to that finish, it's been a struggle for me to work on it, but I just need to keep going because I do not want to add it to the mocking basket of whips. I just want to get it finished. And I know once it's finished and once I get it framed and have it on the wall, I will absolutely adore it and love it. But these last couple of days, it's been really hard to stay motivated to work on it. It's been a challenge. I'm not sure why, because you know me, I love fall and I love all of the colors, especially the house is just that rusty mustard color that I absolutely love. And I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm glad that I, stuck with it. I'm nearly done. I'm going to try to find some time over the weekend to finish it because it's really close. And I know, like I said, I know when I'm done, I will absolutely adore it and I will be so happy to have it done. Once I am done with it, I am actually going to, so I don't know if I talked about it in my last video, but Yvette and I had got talking about kind of our whips and what we wanted to accomplish in this coming year. And she has Village at Wren Hollow that had been in her mocking basket. And she was telling me she really wanted to get back to it, and she thought maybe that Wednesday and Thursday that we do the autumn stitches would be perfect. And I have Autumn at Wren Hollow that I also would like to get back to. So what we decided to do is in between our autumn projects, we would stitch a block of our Wren Hollows. So when this is done, and next week on Wednesday and Thursday, I will return to Wren Hollow. And so I will have that to show in my next video. I have part of one of the blocks to finish, and then I will be moving on to the next block. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that one and having that to show you guys in my next video, because the last time I worked on it was September, and I really would like to eventually finish it. All right, so this next project that I am going to show you was a new start for me, and I did show it in my last video. This is my New Year New Start, and I'm stitching it with my friend Yvette. This particular chart was not intended to be my New Year New Start, but after my sister-in-law passed away in November, I had gotten talking to Yvette about some sort of like Christmas sampler that I could do and do in her memory. And Yvette, we already had this one kitted, and Yvette was like, how about Christmas garden? So we took what we were going to start on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, and we we kind of moved it to later on in the year, and we started Christmas Garden by Blackbird Designs. And I will be stitching this piece in memory of my sister-in-law who passed away in November. Christmas was her favorite time of the year, and this sampler will be absolutely perfect for her. There's also no house on it, and if you remember, I remember talking about a conversation that I had had with her before she had went in to have her surgery, and she had asked me if I stitch anything other than houses. And so we had a big laugh about that. And of course, this sampler does not have a house on it, but there is a tiny, tiny part of me that wants to be a stinker and stick a house on it because maybe she'll come haunt me. And I know that sounds totally silly, but anyway, so this is what it will look like when it is finished. And I was able, so before I show you my progress, right before we started it, Yvette said we should break it up into like assignments. And so every month we will have an assignment. We just have to finish it by the end of the month. And I thought that was a really good idea. So the goal is to finish it sometime in July, which is the same time that we finished Liberty's Welcome last year. So it's very doable. And I was able to complete my first assignment. And here is my progress. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count Dusty Road by Seraphim Fabrics. And I'm stitching it 1/2 with the Vicky Clayton silks. And I had someone ask me about this particular conversion. And I will put a link to Vicky Clayton's website. And she, if you look for, I think it says silk floss packets. If you click there, it'll open up a whole nother screen. And she has converted her silks for various cross stitch projects. So if there's something that you have in your stash, if you have Christmas Garden in your stash and you like this conversion, you can just search for Christmas Garden. I think it says BB Christmas Garden, and click on that, and then those are the silks. And again, I will put a link to Vicky Clayton's website. Prior to starting this, I had not worked with silks. I have a couple of projects that are kitted with silks, but I had never worked with any. And I absolutely love working with Vicky Clayton silks. I did not have one knot the whole entire time I was stitching this. I didn't have any problem with the thread fraying on me. I had to rip out a motif because I had put it in the wrong place. It did not shred. It just pulled right out just like butter. I did not have any problem whatsoever. I am a huge, huge lover of silks. And if I sold all of the floss that I had kitted up for all of the projects and just did the Vicky Clayton silks, I would be totally happy. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. Now on this particular fabric, a lot of it does kind of fade away, and I'm hoping that as I add more of the motifs, some of the motifs that are kind of blending in with the fabric will kind of pop up a little bit more. I would say that the floss is very vintagey looking, and I know that this particular sampler, when I get it done, is going to look amazing next to my sampler or my vintage Christmas tree that I put up every year in the other room. It has a lot of the same colors, and I know the two of them will complement each other, and so I'm really excited to have it hanging next to my vintage tree next year. But it's it's just so absolutely beautiful, and I hope the camera is picking it up well. But I absolutely love it. I think my sister-in-law would have loved it. I hope she would have, or I hope. But I Absolutely love working on it. My plan is to add her name right here. And if I don't feel like it's going to work, I might have to rearrange a couple of motifs. But I'm pretty sure if I stitch her name 1 over 1, it'll work out really, really good there. So I will continue. Well, no, actually, I will not pick this up again until the beginning of February. So my plan is to, at the beginning of every month, those first 5 days of every month, I will spend working on this. And hopefully it will continue to go well and I will have it finished in July. So my plans for the next 2 weeks is to finish Mighty Acorns. I'm hoping to do that one over the weekend. I'm thinking Sunday probably is like the best day out of the whole entire weekend because Brian will be watching the football playoffs. And then I will be starting The Winter Has Passed by Blackbird Designs. So I really, really love this piece. I already have a frame for it. It's not too large of a sampler. It's what I would consider like a smallish sampler. So I am looking forward to starting this one. So in my next video, I will have progress on it. I am going to be stitching it on a piece of 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus, and this is what it looks like. And this is what the called for is. And then I will be using the called for threads. And then tonight, I will be starting the Mary Bell sampler by Lori Ripley of Homespun Prims by Lori. And I've been looking forward to starting this one. When she released it, I fell in love with it. And I've seen a couple of stitchers on Instagram stitch it, and it's just such a beautiful house. I mean, I love red houses, so I really, really love this piece. It's not a huge sampler. I believe that it is. Did I print it off? I did not. Oh, wait a second. The stitch count on this is 103 by 103, and if you stitch it on a piece of 36 count linen, it is 5.5 by 5.5. So it's not an overly large sampler, which I am looking forward to stitching on something a little bit smaller. And then I will be working on a piece of 36 count corn silk by Weeks Dye Works. Okay, so in my last video, I showed what all of my cross-stitching plans were for this year, and I added 2 more projects to that batch. They're not large projects, but I wanted to make sure that I was like transparent. And that is, well, the first one. The other one I'll show here in a few minutes because I went up to Acorns and Threads, and so I guess technically it's haul. It's been a while since I've shown any haul. It's not a lot. I didn't go crazy, but this one here, when I went up there, I met Heidi to give her quilt back, and I went up for linen for this particular project. So that's why it's here, and then my haul will be in a few minutes. But it is the Rose and the Giant Pear by Hands Across the Sea Sampler. So when I first saw this, although I thought that it was very pretty, it didn't really like grab my attention. And then a week ago, I was on Facebook, and in the Hands Across the Sea Facebook group, Nicola had posted a picture of someone who had finished this, and they had done it on this beautiful piece of grungy linen. I mean, it was beautiful. And she did it with DMC, and the combination of the DMC and that linen, it just completely changed the look of it. And I just fell absolutely in love with it. Now, it's not an overly large sampler. The design area is 177 stitches by 65. And I decided to do it on a 36 count linen. So when it is finished, it will be like 10 by 4. So it's just going to be kind of a narrow piece. So when I was up at Acorns and Threads, I looked for a piece of linen, and I found this piece of Mountain Air linen 36 count Egyptian sand. And although it's not as molted as the linen that I saw online, it is nice and like grungy-ish. So I think it'll look really good. I'm going to stitch it with the called for DMC. I still have to go get a couple when I go into Michael's, but I do have it almost fully kitted. All right, so over the past 2 weeks, I did have a couple of finishes. One of them is a fully finished, and then the other one is just a finish, and it's waiting for a frame whenever I can, get to making frames. So the one that I fully finished is called Merry Winter 1809 Snowman Pin Key by Country Rustic Primitives. This is what it looked like. So this was my morning stitch, and I finished it earlier this week. And here it is. So I stitched it on a piece of 32 count, I'm going to call it mystery linen. Basically, it was just a piece of leftover linen that I did not write down what the name of it was. I distressed it with the Primitive Antiquing Spray, and then I stitched it with the called for DMC 2/2. When I finished it, I wanted to kind of give it like an old, like molted look. So I dropped water on it, and then I immediately hit it with the iron. And when I did that, it changed it kind of gave it a little molting. So the goal I was going for is I wanted it to look like it had been around for 100 years. I don't know if I was successful, but I do really like how it turned out. The frame was one that I picked up from the Goodwill a while ago, and I just painted it black. I didn't do any sanding or distressing. I just wanted it to be a nice black frame. This particular one hangs down the hallway. I have a wall sconce that has a primitive candle in it with a wreath, and this hangs just above it. And I really love it. So my next goal at some point between now and the beginning of March is to stitch something smallish like this for spring. But I love it. Such a cute finish. And then, so for finishing, I took a piece of mat board, 3 pieces of batting, wrapped the piece around it, and then laced it. And then I just took, so the frame had a back, but the back was it wasn't gonna hold up. So I just cut a piece of cardboard, laid it over, used the little prongs that were already in the frame, put it down, and then I used some of these are like framing, I can't think of what the name of it is, but they have like little points, and you take a screwdriver and you pop it in with a hammer, and you have the screwdriver, and then you just hammer it in, and then it slides into the wood. So it just kind of gives it a little bit more reinforcement. And then there it is. So I love it. It was a fun project, and it was nice to have that new finish. So for my next finish, I am so excited that I finished this one, and that is the Scarlett House's and Priest. So this one, you guys have been following a lot. If you've been with me over like the last year, you watched my journey with this particular piece, and I am so excited to say that I have it finished, and here it is. So this is Anne Priest by the Scarlett House. I stitched it on a piece of 40 count caramel by Seraphim Fabrics, 1/2, with the called for threads, in case I forgot to say that. In my excitement, I just can't think of anything except I finished it. So it's done. I did personalize it with my great grandparents' names. And here is, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick it up very good, but my great-grandmother's name, her maiden name was Mary Slaby, and then my great-grandfather's name is John Korpika. And over here, I put the year that they were married, which was 1925. She's so beautiful. I'm so happy to have her done. This piece, absolute joy to work on. I had the most fun. I just really enjoyed my time with Anne. And I'm so happy that I have a piece that memorializes my great-grandparents. Mary Slaby was a quilter. And if you remember, while I was doing my anniversaries of the heart, the 7th block, which was the swans, her initials are there because she was a quilter. And my dad told me that when he was younger, my great grandma and her sisters would all get together. They were all quilters, and they would bring their quilts over and they would quilt. You know, they would have a quilt laid out and they would all sit there and do the hand quilting on it. And so I love knowing that I have that connection with her. Mary died in 1979 or 1978, and somewhere there is a picture of her holding me with my grandma being there, and I hope someday to see that picture again, because I remember my grandma showing it to me when I was a kid. And so I am glad that I have this piece now dedicated to them, and I cannot wait to make a frame for it. So one of the things I'm planning on doing in the next 2 weeks is getting kind of all of that set up so I can start making frames, because now I have projects that are like waiting. So but I'm so happy to have her done, and thank you so much if you know, watched me along the way and you cheered me on. Just thank you so much for that support, because she is a big piece, a lot of stitches, a lot of time, and I really love her so much. So I had a couple people ask me what big sampler I was going to start next, and I actually don't know. I need to think about that one. My only thought was just to work on her, and I wasn't really thinking like what comes after her. So I don't know. It might be Rachel Howe. I have a couple of samplers that could be possible starts, so I need to think about that. All right, so I think now I'm going to share my tiny little bit of haul, and then I do have some happy mail that I want to show in this video. Now, the haul that I got is nothing to get excited about. I went up there with my main purpose of getting a piece of linen, and then this was stuff that just kind of I've liked. One of the things Brian liked, and he's like, oh, this will look really good in your trench bowl. And then the other one, I think it'll look good in my bedroom. So honestly, it's nothing crazy. I know that I don't really show a whole lot of haul in my videos, and that's just because I don't really get a lot of haul. I pretty much just kind of stitch what I have. And if I do buy anything, it's usually threads. So it's nothing exciting. But while we were up there, Brian he was kind of going through Brenda Gervais patterns, and he saw this. So this is called Samplings number 1. And he saw this one, and then there was a blue one, and I asked him to pick one, but he couldn't pick which one he liked, so I went ahead and did this one. And I don't have a whole lot of Easter stuff for the trench bowl, so I think this will be perfect. The only thing you stitch is this middle one here, and then these two, there is, you make with this. And then I got a few of the called for threads. One of them they didn't have, but I'm just going to substitute DMC, and then the rest is DMC. So I plan on stitching this as my morning stitch over these next couple of months. I got a piece of the called for linen, which is Seraphim's Dusty Road, which I love Dusty Road. I love Dusty Road and then Dead Sea Scroll. I love Seraphim Fabrics. They're really nice to work on. So when I saw that that is what the called for was, and they had just the right piece, so it was perfect. But I was glad that they had it there, and then it was Dusty Road, because I really love Seraphim. And then the other thing that I got is the Gilded Cage by Carriage House Sampling. So this one's been on my wish list for a long time, and I just happened to see it there. And it's not a big sampler, so it would be another one that would stitch up fairly quickly. And I think it would look really cool in my bedroom. I want to do 2 shelves, kind of not like super far apart from each other, but enough that, you know, something like this, I could frame it and then it would go on like the bottom shelf. So I think it'll be perfect. So that's what I got. It was nothing exciting. It's been a long time since I've, you know, treated myself, but both of those, I'm really happy. I'm really excited to do both of those. So I'm looking forward to that. Over the past couple of weeks, I got a little bit of happy mail. A couple of videos ago, I remember asking about early workings Tina Woltman, and she used to have a picture trail shop, and then of course picture trail went away, but I haven't seen anything. Somebody told me that she's on Etsy, but I wasn't able to find her shop on Etsy. But Alice was watching that video and she had just finished working on these, so she sent them my way. So the first one is Fractor Tulips, which is going to look amazing in the trench bowl. This one here I know is like on my immediate radar within the next couple of months to stitch, and it's 1776 pin keep, and I love this one. I've seen a couple people stitch it and it's just so cute. I love it, love it, love anything patriotic. And then this one is Give Thanks. It's going to be perfect in my November trench bowl. So a lot of fun little pin keeps to make. Thank you so much, Alice. I've already been in touch with Alice, but thank you so much. And then the other day, there was a package that arrived from Chris, and on Instagram, she is OSU Mammy, and she sent me this Christmas card. She was in town, and so she sent me this Christmas card and her floss drops, which I am going to be using these on something like summery. They're perfect. And then she made me this adorable little small, and this is Brenda Gervais. There's a summer one. I can't think what the name of it is, but she's one of the little girls that's in that summer little booklet. So very cute, and I probably will have to leave her out, just put her in the trench bowl until summer comes, but she's so adorable, and thank you so much. She's beautiful. I love her, love her, love her. And then she also sent me this little, and I don't know I meant to look what the name of it is because Lori Holt did a tutorial on this, but I'm going to hang this from one of my project bags. But thank you so much, Chris. It was so very generous of you to send those to me. I love the pillow. I can't wait to have it in the trench bowl. And the next time you're in town, we definitely need to meet up. And Heidi sent me this card all the way from the Netherlands, and she had won one of my giveaways. Luckily, it made its way to her, and she included this beautiful Carrie's Creation overdyed floss in the colorway Thanksgiving. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful autumn colors. I love them, all my favorite colors. And then Robin had sent me a Christmas card, and the Christmas card's already, because I save all the cards you guys send me, so I've already put it away, but she sent me this beautiful piece. It's by Stitchy Stuff, and it's overdyed threads, and it's called Volcanic, but very beautiful. It'd be perfect for fall. So thank you. And the last thing, Andrea, she had won one of my giveaways, and as a thank you, which was totally unnecessary, but she sent me this quilt pattern by Fig Tree called Halloween Blooms. Beautiful. I love the color. I love Fig Tree. So I have some of these that is in a quilt that I need to get back to. But thank you so much. It was so sweet of you guys to send me those things. I love your sweet notes. I love your sweet cards. Thank you so much. It's so very generous of you to send all of that my way. So thank you. In my last video, I did have a giveaway, and thank you so much to everybody who played along. The question I had asked was, what is a new hobby that you might want to start in this new year? And I told you mine was punch needle. And if you didn't have a new hobby that you wanted to take up, what was your current hobbies? And I just really enjoyed reading through everybody's comments. I'm still working on reading through, but I did go ahead and gather up all of the people who entered, and I do the random comment picker. So I do have the winners for that video. So what you will need to do if you are a winner is please get a hold of me via email. I will put my contact information down below, and then let me know what it is that you've won, and I will send it out to you. Well, you have to let me know what you won. Send me your or give me your address, and then I will send it out to you. So without further ado, The first winner, and this was number 1, is Mara Jones. So these are your YouTube names. So Mara Jones, you are the winner of number 1. Number 2 is Catherine Boles, Boles, B-O-L-E-S. I'm sorry if I butcher your names. Number 3 is Terry Ruppel. Number 4 is Sue Allen. Number 5 is Bertha McMillan. Number 6 is Crafting with Fizzy. Number 7 is Cara Ponder. And number 8 is, it just is Christine. That was your YouTube name. And number 9 is for the PDF of this, and that is Sion Parrington. And I apologize if I butchered your first name. It's S-I-A-N. So congratulations to all of the winners. If you guys can get a hold of me via email, send me your address, let me know what you want. I can get these out in the mail to you next week. And thank you so much for playing. So this video also has a giveaway. Over the past 2 weeks, on January 11th, I hit my 3-year Flosstube anniversary. And thank you to all of you guys who have joined me along the way. It's been a tremendous amount of fun, and I've really enjoyed making these videos, coming back every 2 weeks to share what I've been working on. You guys have helped keep me motivated to work on all of my projects, and you guys are my biggest champions, and I just really appreciate you guys so very, very much. So this video is going to have 2 giveaways. I decided to do a cross-stitch giveaway and a quilting giveaway because I do have a lot of quilters that watch this video, and I just thought it would be perfect representing my 2 favorite hobbies, and they're just absolutely perfect for this giveaway. So the first one is the kit that the Fat Quarter Shop sent me. I showed this in my last video, and it is the Oh Dear cross stitch kit. It is from the Stitch Quarterly Club, and this is what it looks like. So this is Oh Dear. So you will get the chart, the Ada, the DMC, the needle minder, the floss bobbins that are by Lori Holt, and then there's a needle somewhere in here. As well as you will get the project bag that it goes in. So if you are interested in winning the cross stitch kit, it'll be number 1. And then number 2 is a little quilt kit. So this just makes a little table topper. And let me take it out. So the quilt is called Farmstead Game Board. This is what it looks like. It is by Kim Deal, one of my favorite designers. So you will get the pattern as well as the fabric. So these are all Kim Deal fabrics. So you'll get all of the fabrics to make the quilt. I don't believe it comes with the backing. So the backing is something that you would, have to supply, but it's basically all of the stuff to make the quilt top. It comes in this cute little package. So if you're interested in winning the quilt kit, it's number 2. So thank you so much again to everybody who watches my video and helps support me. I really helps support me on this journey. It really means a lot to me. I wish there was a way that I could give prizes to all of you guys. And if I can find a way to do that, I will do it someday. But for right now, all I have are these 2 fun prizes to give away. So if you're interested in winning them, of course you must be a subscriber, like the video, and answer the question, which is, I decided let's have some fun. So the question that you will need to answer is, you are going to be stranded on a deserted island for 1 year. What 3 cross-stitch projects will you bring with you to keep you company? Now, you can also have all of your notions and things like that. So that's already coming with you, but what 3 projects would you take along with you to stitch while you are stranded on your deserted tropical island or mountain snowed-in cabin? and answer it down below. And in my next video, I will announce 2 winners. Thank you so much for playing. What 3 projects would I take with me? I would definitely take Autumn at Acorn Hollow. Responsibly just take something I'm already currently working on, try to get it finished over the course of that year. And then I definitely would take Rachel Howe. I've had that one kitted for a long time, and it would be nice to have that year to get it done. And then Sarah Stewart Hardman would be the 3rd one. So 3 big projects. So it definitely would take me the full year to get all 3 of them done. So down below, let me know what your 3 projects would be, and I'll announce a winner in my next video. And thank you so much for playing as usual. I love reading all of your guys' comments, and I like that you guys get into the spirit of the questions. Well, guys, as far as all of the cross stitching goes, that is all I have to show and share in this video. I'm going to talk about quilting next, so if that's not something you are interested in, this is a great stopping off point. And as usual, I'll be back in 2 weeks, and I appreciate you stopping by today. If you need to get in touch with me or would like to follow me on my social medias, I will list all of that down in the description box that is down below. And otherwise, I will see you in 2 weeks. I really feel like I need like some quirky little music to kind of play in between the cross stitching and the quilting. So let's talk about quilting. First of all, my quilt machine ended up in the shop 2 different times over the past 2 weeks. Both times it needed 2 little quick fixes. But still, it was kind of an annoyance. I'm going to be honest with you. And then I decided to send my main sewing machine up to Montevilla Sewing Center to be cleaned. So it's been gone a week. It'll be gone for 2 more probably. They said it could be a little bit less than 3 weeks, but I'm just going to like tell myself it's 3 weeks. I miss it. It's like I've lost my left arm. I mean, I absolutely miss it, and I cannot wait to get it back. I do have a backup sewing machine, but it is very small. It's one of the first sewing machines I ever got, so there's not a whole lot it's not going to be able to do like a lot of big projects. So my main focus will be to hopefully get it to make some project bags so I can add those back to the shop. But as far as any quilting, making, or anything like that, I probably will just wait for my main sewing machine to come back. I am going to have to pause right here because I see that Brian is home from the grocery store. So I will help him unload those groceries, and then I will come back and I will show what I've been working on. Okay, so all the groceries are put away. I'm back. Let's talk about quilting. Sorry for the interruption. So before my sewing machine went off to be cleaned, I was working on the Temecula album quilt. I actually was really kind of slow to get back to all of my sewing. I'm not really sure why. I wish I would have been a little bit more on top of things, but I don't know. I was just kind of slow to get back into it. And then I made the decision to send the machine off to be cleaned, and I should have probably done that, right after Christmas. So I did work on the 7th month, and I was able to get those blocks done. So you had to make one of these basket blocks. I decided to do the machine applique, and so the only thing I haven't done is I haven't tacked these down, and I will wait. There is another block that is coming up that I will also do. So basically I used the heat and bond, the sewable heat and bond. I traced the shapes, cut them out, fuse them to the fabric, fuse the fabric to the background fabric, and then with my sewing machine I will do like a straight stitch. So I decided to hold off on doing that step until I do the other applique block that is coming up in one of the upcoming months. I also, you were to make 3 of these blocks. So again, the same thing. I'm just gonna wait till till I get that other block done. And then 1 more. And you also had to make one of these. So I really like how this one turned out. It's one of my favorite blocks, I think. So I think over the 2 weeks, my plan is I'm gonna do a lot of prepping. Like in the evenings, I'll just, like with the Temecula, I'll just pull like month 8 and I will cut those out, and then I put labels on them so I know what they are. And then when my sewing machine does come back, then I'll have a lot of assembly to do, and I plan on doing that if I have time with a couple of other projects. But for the most part, I think I might focus with my free time. I think I'm going to focus on my bedroom, and there's some other places around here that could use a good purging. So it's a good time. It's a good time to kind of like stop and then work on some other things, and then get all that done, and then just have a sewing palooza when the machine does come back. Okay, so in my last video, I showed this book. So this is the Dear Jane quilt book. And I let you know that this was going to be something I was going to be working on this next year, as well as the next 4. And I am stitching the Dear Jane quilt with Christy Crosshatch Quilts, Yvette, and Carol the Saltbox Stitcher is also going to do it with us. There was a lot of you guys who also said that you would like to work, as I'm working on it, you want to go ahead and work on it too, and that's awesome. A lot of you guys were curious about the website that had the free PDF patterns, and I will, so I've been going through my comments. I went ahead and I put the link to that particular website, but I also will make sure in this video that I put the link to it down below. But it was done by a quilter named Susan R. Gatewood, and I think Susan Gatewood is the name of her website, but she has those foundation paper piecing patterns available for free. And again, I will link it down below. That is what we will be using to assemble our Dear Jane quilt. The 3 blocks, so the way that Yvette is doing it, there will be 4. I think it might depend on how many Fridays are in the month, is how many quilt blocks. I need to double check on that. I know she's told me once, and for some reason I can't retain it, but the ones that I need to work on for this month is A1, A2, A3, which I think this is an applique one, and so we're doing 3 blocks and 1 triangle, and the triangle we are doing is this one. It just says top number 1, so it's just the first one in the top. So that is how we are going to approach it. We'll have three of one of these blocks here, and then 1 triangle. And then at some point we have to do the corners, and I think that's how we're tackling it. I will double check, and I will make sure in my next video to say for sure how it is that it's being broken down. So I didn't get a chance to work on it. We started it last Friday. I did not get a chance to work on it all through the week. And I am hoping this weekend to sit down and get at least 1 assembled. And by the end of the month, I would like to get them all assembled by the end of the month. So I will have those to show you in my next video. Okay, and then 1 last quilt. Now I've shown this quilt the last 2 videos, and I apologize because I'm showing it again. I did add border fabric to it, so I do want to show it. And then of course, I'm hoping between now and my next video, I'll get it quilted. But I wanted to show you what it looked like with its borders on. So this was part of the Sewing Bee Mondays that Temecula Quilt Company did last year. She would release a block the 2nd Monday of every month, and you just had to make 4 of those blocks, and then at the end of the year you had 48 blocks to put into a quilt, and you would have a finished quilt at the end of the year. I decided to go a different way with my setting. I did the On Point setting using the On Point math calculator by Quiltville, and I won't be able to put the link to that website, but I will put the name of it down below. And here is what it looks like with the border. So I went to my local quilt shop, which is the Speckled Hen. I went last Saturday on my way home from dropping off my quilt machine, and I picked out 2 different border fabrics. I decided to go with a kind of a green, and then this one here. I love this one so much. So they are Civil War reproduction. Love it. Love it, love it. So here's what it looks like with the border. So I love how they turned out. I'm glad that I did the on point setting. So I have a nice good size lap quilt, and I'm hoping next time I will have it quilted so I can show in this in my next video. So I'm not sure yet what kind of quilting motif I will do. I think I might do something a little denser. I think maybe like a swirl or maybe even paisleys. I don't know. I need to decide. So as soon as I decide that, then I will throw it on the quilt machine. Well, that is everything I have to show in this video. If you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. I do really appreciate all of you guys who you watch my videos and then you let me know that you stuck around till the end. Even there's a lot of you who aren't even quilters, but you like to see what I am working on. And believe it or not, there's quite a few quilters who don't do cross stitch that watch through the cross stitching until I get to the quilting. I've had a lot of people ask if I'm going to do tutorials, and right now I'm not really set up to do something like that. I don't really have a dedicated sewing room, and where I do sew, it's out in the other room. There's a desk out there. It's kind of dark out in that other room too, so the lighting's not the best. It's basically the kitchen, dining, family room area, and I pretty much have when I'm working on something, I pretty much take it over. So it's not an ideal setup, and I feel like to do like a good tutorial, lighting is key, and being able to have a good angle is also key, and I don't really have that right now. I also had somebody ask if I would show where my quilt machine is at, and that will never happen because my quilt machine is out in what is basically the garage, and no. You know, if I win $1 million and I decide to turn it into an actual room, of course. But right now, no. No. It would be, if I was able to, I totally would. But where it sits right now, it's no. I would be utterly embarrassed to show. I'm actually utterly embarrassed when people come over and then they go out there and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just no. That's no. Someday, when I win $1 million and I can go and build a beautiful sewing studio complete with a place for my quilt machine, sewing machine, table, of course I will do a tutorial. But for right now, I'm not really set up to do any of that. I wish I was, because I do enjoy teaching people to quilt, and everybody that I've taught how to quilt is still doing it. So that makes me pretty proud. So anyway, but enough rambling. I am going to go so I need to check all these videos to make sure the audio is okay in case I have to film any of them. And then I do have a client coming to pick up her quilt in a little while. I gotta feed the hubs lunch, and then I gotta edit. So I will be back, of course, in 2 weeks. I hope you have a great one. If you'd like to see what I'm up to in between my video, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page, which is called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting, and I will put a link to that down below in the description box. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I thank you so much for stopping by today. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.